everybody out there. I am your host and I am back. It's Jessica Koch, and this is Profound Professionals. It is the interview series that has been coming to you almost 10 years now. Next year, we have a birthday, a 10-year-old birthday. That's so great. We bring you industry experts from all over the world. They help improve your personal life or help you grow your business. And today, we have the beautiful, beautiful Tessa. Tessa has done more than 1,000 scuba dives from around the world. This is something you will never see on a Jessica Koch's scuba gear. I am not floating around where those sharks are. I don't want to be on the menu at any time or any place, but I am super excited to have someone so brave that she defies oxygen, and she is okay with potentially being on the menu. So welcome, Tessa.
No, 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 no,
No,
no. Nobody's menu.
no one's menu. That's how I am. I won't kayak where there are gators, and I know people kayak all over the world where there are alligators. And I interviewed a guest. Oh, forgive me, he's out there. He's a surfer, and he has had and survived 3 shark attacks. Okay, I'm going to tell you, after how many I would stop surfing.
What is he doing wrong?
I
That
don't
is too many.
I know. So he has not given up his passion for his hobby, and there you have it. But scuba
Wow.
diving is brave and wonderful. But give us a little bit more about your journey and story here, Tessa.
I would be thrilled to do that. Short story, short version, I've been in the transformation industry since I was 16. And I just realized that not long ago, like 10 minutes ago, because I was like, I've been saying I've been doing this 25 years, so that's not true. I started when I was 16 and helping women to realize their inner beauty and to bring that out. And I had completely forgotten about it, but that is like the heart still of what I do, helping coaches bring their inner beauty out and bringing the inner beauty of others out, right, as they make their contribution in the world today. But the problem is around failure, failure to stay in business. And I went through that myself. I tried so many things. I was like, what's wrong with me? I can't quite get this sales thing down. Like my discovery sessions are just, me giving and giving and giving. And people like either confused or feeling fixed and then never doing another coaching session. Like it was so mysterious. And of course, I was trying to follow other people's systems. I was trying to follow exactly what they told me, which was what I realized later. It was just one piece. There were many, many, many pieces. And so I went through a journey of paying lots and lots of money for highfalutin scripts, for highfalutin sales techniques, and it still didn't work. I had to figure out what was missing. And now I am really deeply grateful to be able to serve new coaches in the industry, to keep them in business past 2 years, which is, there's an 82% of them, it said, to be failing after 2 years. And there's even more statistics on that stuff. Like I've been digging up stuff and it's amazing, like actual studies done where it's discovered that most coaches are not even having sales conversations because they're terrified, they don't know how to do it, they just wind up over giving. And so I'm here to help stop the crazy and to start actually serving in a bigger way without being, a bitch or a pushy car salesman.
So what changed for you? What was the thing that flipped the switch to move you from no sales to sales? Something must have happened. It wasn't the magic scripts.
Oh,
The coach.
yeah. So it's not one thing, I gotta say. It's a lot of missing pieces, but I had to see the bigger picture. But if there was one thing, it's really about the conversation and the space that you hold for someone to lean in and say yes. And what is happening for most coaches, especially in the beginning, even the experience was, I know they tell me all the time, oh, I still hate, sales calls, because they're not recognizing the value of the call itself. the
Mm-hmm.
value of that, whether it's call or something else, but
Mm-hmm.
the value of that conversation, because that conversation is potential transformation. And it's not transformation just because they buy a product and you get money in the bank. That's not it. The transformation comes in the conversation. So they start having deeper awarenesses about what really has been holding them back. Because I can tell you, it's not the words, it's the inner game, and it's the ability to be able to respond in conversation while holding a sacred space for people, but having specific structures that you follow that will lead people into that transformational place where they can feel safe enough to actually recognize something in themselves that they couldn't recognize before.
Mm-hmm.
That's a conversation, right? And so there are many elements around that, and I have a method that's not being taught, and I'm also an educator. I studied instructional design for my master's, and I taught transformation at a nonprofit, at the Hoffman Institute, where they provide transformation for people, many people, every year for more than 50 years now. And I've had some really fortunate experiences also selling for other people and learning from the inside out like what actually works. Because just because it works for you, it doesn't mean it's going to work for the next person. Just because it
Sure.
works for me, it's not going to work. I can't just say, here, do that. It
So are
won't
you,
work.
so since that's the case, are you doing this only for one-on-one clients? Are you doing still workshops and group coaching? How are you sharing and
That's
serving?
a great question, Jessica. So I start people with they do their own work. They start to flesh some things out and get in touch with some of the things they don't even realize that they're capable of. So I
Mm-hmm.
help them with that and I give them some strategies and a structure. And
Mm-hmm.
then they start working with that. The next thing is to come into the group program. It's 5 weeks long. It's not going to take up their whole lives, where
Mm-hmm.
they get real time experience speaking the words, engaging with people that weren't in their coaching program, right? And to really learn and feel some of the shifts, the psychological shifts, the
Awesome.
intuitive shifts, the things that actually happen in those conversations.
Sure.
And then after that, if people want to go further and they want to work one-on-one with me and help have my support developing their sales script for their custom
Mm-hmm.
sales script, then yes, they can do that.
That's awesome. So you kind of have a hybrid there. How about giving us one simple quick tip that everyone could apply today?
One simple quick tip is, let's see, I thought I knew what I wanted to say, but now something else is coming in. So let me just pause. You must not coach in the call.
Mm,
You want to create a conversation that draws them out and allows them to be in their pain. I know
mm,
that sounds hard. It
mm,
is hard. And
mm.
the urge to fix is big, especially with health coaches, healers of any kind, right? Anybody in the love department. And because you're here to make a contribution to help end the suffering in the
Mm,
world. But it's not in that conversation. You don't want to end the suffering. You want to reveal the suffering.
That's powerful. That is very powerful. And I think that is probably a big component. That's the difference between closing and and I hate to say closing a sale, but um, establishing in a relationship where you're going to move forward and support and work together
Yes.
where money is transacted, but that money is more valuable for the client to give us or to give a coach than it is for us to receive it, because it shows that they now have skin in the game and must step up to the plate and take the steps and
Absolutely.
make the action because they put that money in. That money is linked to so often to whether or not they will actually take the action steps and have a new life based on whatever it is you're teaching or helping them with. So I love that tip. How about a nonprofit cause you care about, something close to your heart? We've been sharing these for awareness for many years now on our show with all of our guests. Do you have a cause you care about?
I do have a cause, and that would be the environment.
Mm,
Really loving our home,
hmm.
right? Whatever that cause is for you, something giving back to supporting this beautiful planet
Hmm.
so that generations to come will have something gorgeous and safe to be on.
And I love that you said environment because that can be so many things. It's our yard, it's our community, it's our planet, it's the earth, but it's also your immediate space and maybe even your family's immediate space because there's something healing and beautiful and wonderful when you clean up, thin out, get rid of, unleash, open up space and beauty in your homes and in your spaces for yourself and for your family and for the people who visit your home. And you can then donate anything you're not using or sell it at a really, I like to put things for sale. I do donations, but let me tell you why. I like to sell things that are high value and good quality still for a ridiculously reasonable small price, because then I know again someone who's putting skin in the game who really wants it is going to have it in their home and it's going to be giving them and their pleasure, and it's not just going to get lost in a
Right, and dust
or
collected on it or,
yeah, or
relegated to the
shovel
back
or
room.
yeah, or just, donations are good and should be done, but for some things I really feel like it's a good idea. And that's actually how I started my VA agency is my first hiring my own first VAs for myself before I started the agency was just selling things that we didn't need anymore. And I used that cash as like a specific fund. So you always have the resources to hire the person you need, the coach you need. Don't say, oh, I can't do that yet. No, there's something sitting around you that you don't need anymore, and you can designate that money for that. So I love that nonprofit cause is your environment in all the ways that could possibly mean your environment.
Absolutely. And I love that you mentioned the home because the home is where we nurture ourselves.
First
And
step.
it's a first expression, in the world other than our clothing,
Hmm.
which can be a way to create harmony in the world, but often is not for many people. But
Hmm.
creating that harmony, that beauty, that supports our being. It supports us emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Of course. How about a book? We love books too that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your
Oh
business.
my gosh. When you ask me that today, I always like to think, well, what other books? Because I'm all, there's so many. I can't remember. I had tried to make a book list years ago. I wrote a blog post about it, and there were just so many. They just kept coming and coming and coming and coming. And the one that came in today is Creative Visualization by Shakti Gawain.
I can't believe you mentioned that book. I love it. I love Mark Allen and his publishing firm. I forget the name of his publishing firm, but he publishes a lot of beautiful self-help and improve yourself kind of business books. And he had a close relationship with her. And Creative Visualization, I think it's a book that I have on my list to read that I even may have around here somewhere that I haven't actually read yet. It's just been on my list. I've read Millionaire Course by Mark Quain. It's actually not about being a millionaire, but I really love how action based his structure of his book is. But I haven't read Creative Visualization, so tell us about it.
Well,
A little bit,
I
just a sentence.
got the book back when, I won't even say the year.
Back when
And
when we all were egg warmers, that's
before
when.
before most listeners were born, probably. And it was in New York City, and I had the distinct pleasure of being able to be in the audience with
Mhm.
Shakti Gawain.
Oh,
Yeah, she led us, and the vibe was just,
oh,
ah, right? Like I know I was infused with something that day, and
yeah.
the magic of the visualization and activating things to start firing in my brain in a
Oh,
new way, right? And in my being, and like think about the world differently. It was incredible. It really lit me up and it gave
oh,
me some kind of spark to keep going and to start expanding my imagination so I could start stepping into things that I hadn't even considered
I love
before.
that. And if you've ever been in the presence of a person that just hearing her name and seeing that book name, I felt the energy. I've never met her. I've never heard her speak. I've never seen her, but I just
Right.
know intuitively that she is, I feel this wave of power, right? And if you were as lucky as Tessa to be in an audience with someone that has that energy, you can get that moment back simply by meditating. And I believe,
Yes.
you all can believe what you want, but I believe time can dissipate. And in a meditation, especially, time doesn't exist. Past, present, and future blend to one. It's all the quantum things, right? And when you do that, you can go back to a space and in the inspiration of visualization, visualize yourself there. Try to remember the smells and how you felt and the energy, and just soak in that wonderfulness all over again. So even though we were wearing leg warmers when you attended her event, you could go back, and we were all carrying Walkman.
Yes, indeed.
You can go back to that moment and soak all of that in. Thank you for sharing that book with us. I forgot about that. Now, you have some programs and things that you're putting together and building and creating. Where would they go to find something to see what's up for the latest and most up to date thing, whether they listen to this now or 3 years from now? What's Tessa up to? Where would they find that?
You can always find me at withtessa.com.
Mm.
And right now I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm always on some sort of social media,
Mm.
but I never know if I'm going to change my mind and go another way there. But I am findable. I also have podcasts out there in the world. I had a couple of my own, and they're still out there. You can find them to listen to, different topics than what we're talking about here today. But the With Tessa will be the most current, and that's where my gifts, my programs are going to be.
Withtessa.com. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And what's the program you've got coming up that you're cooking? And you feel like giving us a sneak peek behind the curtain or share?
Oh, yes. I am so excited about this because it is so different from everything that's out there in
Mm,
terms of sales techniques or what you need to do to sell things.
sure.
Yeah. So I'm offering like insights into psychology, but in a way that is palatable and understandable that you can integrate it so
Mm,
that you can have those conversations. So I am taking people through a process of design, getting in touch with their own gifts first, not their coaching talents or their healing talents and that stuff,
mm,
but their actual ability to be in that beautifully transformational conversation known as the sales conversation,
mm,
and remember some of the things they actually already know how to do and
mm.
start to amplify those and bring those back and celebrate those with structure and critical thinking. So it's going to be super accessible, super, super easy to get started. And then I have a 5-week program
Mhm,
where everyone gets to be with me, of course, every week for
mhm.
5 weeks. It doesn't take forever, it's short, and you get real experience in those conversations with people whom you did not know before.
Mhm,
So, and my guidance on what's happening, and you're going to start to learn what it could be feeling like to
mhm.
be in that conversation because you haven't had a baseline. You don't really know. And that's not your fault. If you haven't been having successful sales conversations, it's because you've been told you should do this one thing and that will never cut it. You need many things, but it's not impossible. You just
No.
have to know what those things are.
I
And I'm
love
excited to teach this stuff. Yeah.
Oh, well, check it out, with Tessa.com, and find out what program is best fit for you or what she's up to now, depending on when you're watching this. It has been so lovely to interview you. I remember years ago we touched base for an interview, and I just remember you have this great intuitive energy and gift and a way to work with someone. And when you infuse that with what you're doing with sales, I think that's going to be a beautiful and powerful thing.
Mm.
So If
Thank
you're
you,
out there,
Jessica.
you're welcome. I really adore you, Tessa. And if you're out there thinking, wait, I'm amazing too. I've written books. I've got programs. I could help someone with their personal life or grow their business. Well, reach out to us and our team, and we will get you booked on the show. But before we go today, Tessa, I would love for you to help close out our show with a final thought, a piece of information or inspiration as we go.
I would like you to really go inside your heart and get back in touch with the reason you decided to do what you're doing in your business.
I love that.
Okay, because there's something beautiful about that. There's something important about that. And you do matter. So please, please do not give up.
That's for sure.
Okay, keep going
That's right.
and learning.
That's
All
right.
right.
Getting in touch with our why and knowing that you matter. Tessa makes some amazing points as we close today. I am your host, as always, Jessica Koch. This has been another Profound Professionals. And until next time, everybody out there, be kind to yourself and be kind to each other. Bye, everybody.